Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to a new episode of One Mic, where I watch it so you don't have to. Today I'm here to talk about episode 7 of season 1 of WandaVision, entitled Breaking the Fourth Wall. I watched it as soon as I could, and I wanted to hurry up here and give you guys my thoughts. So if you've watched these videos up to this point, my videos about WandaVision, you know that I've kind of had a ebbs and flows kind of feeling about WandaVision. You know, some weeks I really like it, and those first couple weeks I didn't. And I think part of whether or not an episode can endear itself to me is how engaging I find the immersion. And I've talked about the immersion multiple times on this channel, on these WandaVision episodes. And my problems with the first 2 episodes were the immersion. There was immersion for the entirety of the episode, and I found that immersion to be uninteresting and unfunny. And I found as the episodes have progressed, the immersion becomes less and less as far as like the portion of the episode that it takes. And then the immersion itself starts to break. And we see that again this week, but this episode I would probably say is one of my least favorite ones out of the 7 so far. I'd say probably only the first 2 would rank lower than this one. And that's really just because I think there were a couple of issues I had with this episode. The first one being, we got a Modern Family theme this week. Sounds like we're in the decade of the 2000s. And if this is an accurate depiction of Modern Family, because I've never watched it, I know it's Modern Family just from like I recognize like the talking to the camera thing, the same shit they do on The Office. I recognize that. But if this is what Modern Family is like, I wouldn't like this show. Like, I didn't think it was very funny. I didn't think it was very interesting. Like, and you could tell that they were going for laughs at times. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not a big fan of this. So yeah, I didn't find the Modern Family stuff to be very entertaining. And my biggest takeaway from that is like, I probably wouldn't like Modern Family. But there are also a couple of other things that I didn't like about this episode that affect my viewpoints of it, but I'll get to those things later. First, I want to talk about some of the things that I did like and some of the things that we learned. So, first and foremost, we got confirmation of what a lot of us have known for a while. I think I mentioned it probably in my episode 3 review. Is that Agnes is Agatha Harkness, and I mean that's if you have any idea who Agatha Harkness is prior to coming into this show, it really wasn't a hard thing to catch. Just like the name itself, Agatha Harkness, like it combine the two and it makes Agnes. It's like it's pretty. They didn't really try to hide it too much. What I did find interesting, which I did not think about prior, is the idea that Agnes is behind a lot of the anomalies that we've seen, and that was not what I thought. Like I always thought that Wanda was in complete control, and that if there were anomalies or things were weird, it was like because Wanda was stressed out or having problems or whatever, or distracted or whatever the case may be. So to find out that Agatha was behind a lot of the things that I or we as viewers thought were either organic or things that Wanda did even subconsciously, that was a surprise, which I liked. I liked the fact that the reveal wasn't just, hey, this is Agatha Harkness. The reveal was kind of like, Agatha's behind more of what we've seen than you might have thought that she was. So I found that to be pretty cool. I'm glad it worked out because I was concerned in the moment because when they do this reveal, Wanda goes down into Agnes's basement and it looks like a fucking witch's lair. And I'm like, why would you allow somebody to go in your basement if you know it looks like that? But it was pretty clear that Agatha was ready to reveal herself. So it's pretty intentional. So I'm fine with that. Where are the kids now? Good question. What did she do with them? Can she keep them under control? Doubt it. So cool stuff there. I really liked how they handled that reveal. I have a couple things written down here that I think I might want to talk about the other things that I liked. So this isn't necessarily something that I liked per se, but it was an enlightening aspect of the show that I think kind of, I don't say disappointed us, but because I think some of us got a little bit hyped up for it. But as you guys know, they said, let's call her Wanda, but Elizabeth Olsen said that they had a big character reveal that will rival Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian. Sorry if you didn't know about that already, but hey, it's been a long time. What can I tell you? If you care that much, you'd have watched it by now. Put it that way. She said that there was going to be a big character reveal. We all thought at the time that it was probably the Evan Peters reveal from last week. And then Paul Bettany came out and said, no, that wasn't it. So that kind of re-triggered the speculation of who this person might be. I have always been in the seat that it was going to be Magneto, because I felt like that is something that could rival a Luke Skywalker showing up at Star Wars, because it's one, it's Magneto, which is a huge deal. Two, he's her father. And three, like that, again, in the same vein as Evan Peters, it's pretty cool to have the Fox X-Men universe bleed into the MCU. So Magneto's always been my guess. But after last week, when Monica said she had somebody in an aerospace engineer who could help her get back into the Hex, the internet started saying they thought it would be John Krasinski as Reed Richards, which to me, I think that would be actually better or bigger than Luke Skywalker showing up in The Mandalorian. So I was pretty hyped for that, but at that possibility, and it turned out no, it wasn't. It was that was not the big reveal. So no surprises there. But and this kind of is going to help me segue into a few of the things that I didn't like. I felt like characters made poor decisions or illogical decisions because making the decision that made sense would inhibit the plot. So what I mean by that, Monica acquires some big giant armored vehicle from SWORD that she's going to drive into the Hex. And my immediate thought was, why do you think this is going to work? Every time anything is going into the Hex, it goes back in time, essentially. Like, it's no longer what it was when it entered. So if you can get through, I feel like your armored vehicle is going to turn into a fucking, I don't know, whatever, some vehicle from the 2000s that's nowhere near as efficient. And sure enough, she couldn't get in. That's what starts to happen. And she jumps out. And I thought, like, I don't understand why you guys thought that this was going to work within the context of the show. But the point of that scene is to give Monica the ability to go in on her own, without being in some sort of armored vehicle. And the fact that that process seemingly has given her her powers is, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of don't like it, but I can accept the fact that they set that up with Darcy saying, like, hey, every time you go in there, that shit's rewriting your DNA a little bit. So, like, it makes sense. But I don't know. I just don't know. Like, it feels kind of weird that even though, like, okay, yeah, your DNA might be being rewritten, but why should that give you powers? I don't know. Like, okay, everybody should go in and out of the Hex then, shit. But I'm okay with that. I think. But a bigger thing that bothered me about this episode was the scene where Darcy and Vision are attempting to drive to Wanda and Vision's house, and they end up at a stoplight, and Vision's like, or Darcy, one of them is like, this is kind of weird, just having a stoplight here, and it's almost like Wanda's trying to keep us from getting back there. And then, like, a crew pulls up, like a construction crew to work on the light, and they're just sitting there like, oh, God, this is so inconvenient. There's no one there. Like, you can literally get out and walk. You can drive around. Vision can just go. Like, I don't understand. Like that was the kind of thing where it's like, okay, this is a stupid character moment that is done to service the plot. And I prefer that the plot revolve around smart character decisions and smart character logic. And then what I did like, though, which I mean makes me feel kind of conflicted on not liking that aspect, is that when Vision's sitting in this, like, director's chair talking to the camera in this, this little cutscene, he goes like, why the fuck am I even doing this? Like takes off the microphone and, like, leaves. And I thought, like, yeah, why are you doing that? So I like the fact that even though there are aspects of the show's decision making, or I should say the characters within the show, their decision making, that I didn't particularly care for, I like the fact that the characters within the show could look at it and go, yeah, what is this? Like, what am I doing? This doesn't make any sense. So I did like that aspect. And then lastly, there is a mid-credit scene, which is a big deal for me because, as you guys know, I'm vehemently opposed to these 7-minute credits. And what I do is, most of the time, I'm watching WandaVision on my computer, in my office, because I'm just trying to watch it right away. So if you hover your mouse over the progress bar on the screen in the Disney Plus web version, you could see like a thumbnail of what's happening in that scene as you just move your cursor. You don't have to click anything. And I move my cursor because it still boggles my mind that they could have 7-minute credits. So I always kind of like move my cursor across the credits to make sure that it's credits the entire time. And lucky for me, I was like, hey, wait a minute. Something's happening here. So I like ran it back. And there was a nice little end credit scene that looked like Monica was about to go start to fuck shit up. And Pietro, that looks to be under the control of Agatha, shows up. So that could make for a very interesting action sequence, which we have seen virtually no action like we haven't seen any real action sequences in the show at all. And not that we need it, but that could be an interesting aspect to the show to have like a super powered fight, something like that. So that'd be pretty cool. But all in all, 2 episodes left. Oh, actually, wait, before I wrap this up, there's one thing that I want to talk about that was kind of irritating. And this isn't about the episode itself, but over the course of the last week, there's been a meme floating around the internet. It's like a picture of Wanda, and it says, Kevin Feige, or how the fuck you pronounce his name, confirms that the last 3 episodes would be 1 hour long. And everybody's been sharing this like, oh, 1 hour. And I thought, if the head of Marvel confirmed, the head of the MCU confirmed that the final 3 episodes were 1 hour, why am I only seeing it in this meme? Like, there's no articles about it. There's no interview clips or nothing. It's just this one meme. And I'm like, I don't want to share this because I feel like this probably isn't the case. Like, if I can't find it anywhere other than this picture that looks like it was created by, I don't know, me, I can't really believe it. And sure enough, the moment my eyes opened this morning, I grabbed my phone, opened up Disney Plus, looked to see the runtime on the episode, 37 minutes. So now I know I got 30 minutes of actual content. And again, that irritates the fuck out of me. Like, I really hate the 7-minute credits thing. Give me 7-minute credits if the episode's an hour, but don't give me 7-minute credits. And then when I read that meme, I thought like, yeah, maybe the episodes will be an hour, but all they're gonna do is like double the length of the credits too. So like we're still gonna end up with like actually 45 minutes of content and like 15 minutes of credits. But it didn't work out that way. So 2 episodes left. We now have our villain reveal. We have a Pietro that appears to be ready to cause problems. We have Wanda seemingly, I don't know if you would consider Wanda to be captured or whatever the case may be, but it certainly appears that Agatha has far more control over this situation than Wanda probably even assumed or knows or can acknowledge or combat. So these final 2 episodes are shaping up to be pretty good, and I'm super excited to see not just how this ends, but how this ties into what the MCU does going forward on the big screen. So I had a lot of problems with this one. I still thought it was an enjoyable episode. Don't get me wrong. And when I say that it's the first 2 episodes are the only ones that I would put beneath it, that sounds worse than it is because I still put those first 2 episodes far beneath this one. So like on a scale of 1 to 10, those first 2 episodes, I'm talking like a 2 or a 3 for those fuckers, and then like maybe like a 6 or a 7 for this one. Whereas most of them I think probably float around an 8 range, 9, something like that, depending. So. 2 more. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully we'll get a pretty big character reveal, or hopefully it's Magneto, so I can come on here and say I told you so. Peace.